Hey troops, Roxy here and welcome to Roxee Plays Games and welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 on Chellington Valley. Before I get into the video, I want to do my usual thank you. So thank you for everyone who has liked my previous videos and thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. As always, it is really appreciated. Yes, we are back in Chellington Valley. Our little pups running around in the garden. And we are going to continue with our playthrough. And last episode we did a little bit of a look around Chellington Valley, quick intro to Chellington Valley, and also a quick intro to courseplay. And we set up a very basic route going from the shop to the farm and the farm to the shop, so that we can get vehicles back and forth if we need to. Today, what we're going to have a quick look at is seasons. We'll have a look at the seasons menu, some changes that will bring in, depending on how long that takes. And once I've discussed what my plans are going forwards, I may see a steam train in the distance there. Look at that beauty. That's cool. Oh, nope, didn't want to chop it up. Yeah, there's a steam train and a normal train that runs on that line. I'm sure we'll see them again in the future. Yeah, so once I've discussed what my plans are, I may do a little bit of work. I'm not sure whether I'll have time to get that in this particular episode. Right, so seasons, what does that bring? Well, we can see up in the menu at the very top, we've got some different icons. So next to the sun icon, in the vanilla map you would normally have a second icon which tells you what's coming up next. So you'd have the current weather and then the weather that's going to happen next, and then you have the time and your money. Differences that we've got now is you have the current weather, but then the icon next to it is the ground moisture, and that's basically telling you that it's very moist, so it will be no good for trying to dry hay, as an example. Next to that we've got the temperatures, so we've got the air temperature and the ground temperature. We then got the part of the season that we're in, so we are currently in day 4, mid-spring. I'm going to talk about that in a second, and a little icon next to that is the spring icon. And then we've got our time, speed, and our money. So if we hit left alt and S, that will open up our seasons menu, and this is the first page that you're greeted with is the calendar. This confused me a little bit when I first started looking at this, but I kind of broke it down into my own terminology for me to understand. This isn't the exact way or the only way to remember this, but this is the way I kind of remember it. We've got 4 seasons, and in each season there are 3 blocks. So you got spring, 3 blocks, summer, 3 blocks, winter or fall, 3 blocks, and then autumn or fall, 3 blocks, and then winter, 3 blocks. So spring, summer, autumn, and winter. I kind of remember it as January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's the way I look at it. That's not exactly the exact way that it is, but that's just the way I remember it personally, just for ease. So going forward, that's what I'm going to refer these blocks as. So rather than saying this is block 1 and this is block 4 or 5 or whatever, I'm just going to say January, February, all those. Wish you could relabel these, but you can't, so obviously that's the way it is. Within each block or within each month, there are a set number of days, and this is all dictated by your settings, so season length. I've got a season length of 9 days set, so a season, so spring has got 9 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So those 9 days are split into the 3 months. So days 1, 2 and 3 it'll be in January, 4, 5 and 6 is February, 7, 8, 9 is March. So essentially I've got 3-day months. You can change that. Let me just log into the admin menu so I can actually change that. Log in as admin. There we go. Go back to the seasons menu. So seasons length, you can have it as low as 3-day lengths. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So each month is only 1 day. So today would be 1 day, and then tomorrow would be another day, and then would be in spring. So that's quite short. So if you want everything to be quite quick, that's what you would want to set your times for. And you can go all the way up to 24-day seasons. So we go back to this. So as you can see now, we're now in day 9 of February, or of spring, I should say. So it's a little bit confusing of trying to think, well, it's not the first day, sorry, it's not the 9th day of February, it's actually the 9th day of spring, but it's kind of like the first day of February. So try not to get yourself too confused with it. Essentially, we've got our days of the season, but then you've got your 3 blocks. So this will be early spring, this will be mid-spring, and this will be late spring. Early summer, midsummer, late summer, but I just like to call it the months. That's just how I prefer to call it. So let's put this back down to 9. While we're in the menu actually, or the settings, we'll just have a quick look. So you can change the temperature, the season's introduction. So when it changes to a new season, this will give you a bit of an introduction to that season. Crop moisture, snow tracks, and snow mode. You can have them on or off. Crop damage scale. This lowers number results in less damage for crops and the amount of weeds. We're actually going to lower them just for now. Until we kind of get used to seasons. I've not played seasons before, so I am new to this. I'm basically playing and kind of doing little mini tutorials as I learn stuff. So let's go back to this one. So we're back to our 9-day seasons, 3-day months. Down the left hand side you've got all of your crops. You then got a temperature next to it. As far as I'm aware, and again I'm still learning this, but as far as I'm aware, this is like the ideal temperature for this particular crop. Excuse me. Alongside that, you've got 2 color bars. You've got a green bar and a yellow bar. The green bar is the planting season, and the yellow bar is the harvest season. So we have a look at wheat. We're currently on day 4. February, if you want to call it that. In spring, the red bar dictates where we currently are. So we're currently in a period where we can plant wheat, but unlike the base vanilla game, you can't plant it and then once it's fully grown harvest it. You have to wait until you can harvest, and we can't harvest until the middle of summer. So this yellow bar here, so January, February, March, April, so it would be May, June and July are the months that we can harvest it. Barley's got a slightly shorter one for the spring, slightly longer planting season, so it goes kind of summer and then through autumn, whereas wheat is just the autumn months. So each crop is going to be slightly different, but one thing that is in common is the winter period is extremely quiet. There's very little that you can do in the winter. You got a couple of crops here that you can harvest like 3 crops you can harvest in the last 2 months of winter, and that's obviously the case in real life. So this is where you would basically do all the management of what you want to do next, and maybe doing things like forestry if you need money. So we'll have a little bit more in-depth look at these as we progress through the seasons, through the episodes in seasons. But like I say, I am new to this. I am learning this myself. I may make mistakes. I may say something wrong, but then obviously, if I find out I've said something wrong, I will correct myself. But I'll try and give you as much information as I can. So if you are an advanced seasons user, then this episode probably isn't going to be for you. However, if you wish to watch and then pick up my mistakes, then please do let me know in the comments so that I can correct myself for the next episode. Right, moving on, we got our weather forecast, and this is just the same as any weather forecast really. You'll have an in-depth weather forecast for today, and then part of tomorrow, and then after that it'll be in day blocks. And as with real life weather forecasts, they are subject to change, and it says down the bottom here, forecast uncertainty increases with time. So these weather forecasts later on in the week may very well change. So today is currently Thursday, and then it shows you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously it'll go back onto Thursday once we hit tomorrow. Down the left hand side we've got our maximum temperature that it's going to be today, average temperature, minimum temperature, precipitation, chances of rain, okay, and how much rain in millimeters. So this is going to be relevant for when we're harvesting, when we are mowing grass and we need to let it dry. So that's going to be quite important. Wind speeds. This is something that I'm not 100% sure on yet. From what I've seen, you can get windmills. I'm guessing there'll be a mod because I've not actually seen one that you can buy. I will actually have a look in the menu once we come off this, just to double check. But I'm guessing that the speed or the wind speed will dictate how fast the windmills work, which will then obviously dictate how well they work. Drying potential kind of speaks for itself, really. The higher the drying potential, the quicker stuff's going to dry. So when you put grass down, it's going to dry quicker. For when you are turning it into hay. Plus symbol means it's going to be quicker. Minus symbol means it's going to be slower, and the 0 means it's going to be pretty much the same. And I have seen like a double minus symbol as well as a single minus symbol, so I'm guessing that you can double it up. I've never seen a double plus, but obviously it's the first few days, so this may very well change as we go along. So that's something to be aware of as well. So there's lots of things that we need to be more aware of than you would do in the base game. Next tab along, we have got our crop info, and this one's quite important as well. In fact, all of those things are quite important in seasons. So we've got our crops down the sides again, and we've got 2 blocks of columns within and 3 blocks within each block. We've got frost resistance and we've got drought resistance. Speaks for itself. If it's resistant to frost and whether it's resistant to drought or lack of water. Within each of those sections, you've got the seed when you plant it. When it's young, obviously started growing, and when it's fully grown. So looking at wheat, it's got a medium. The seed has got a medium frost resistance. It's got a high frost resistance when it's growing, but it's got no frost resistance when it's fully grown. So basically, once it's fully grown, you need to get it harvested straight away, otherwise it's going to die off pretty quickly. When it comes to drought resistance, the seed has got no drought resistance, so ideally you want to be seeding it when there's going to be moisture in the ground. But when it's young, it's got a low drought resistance, and then once it's fully grown, it's got a high drought resistance. So looking at that column, you want to be seeding it when it's warmer, and you want to be harvesting it when it's warmer as well. So if we go back to this column, you can see the periods of harvesting. The best periods of harvesting is going to be in the warmer months. So that will obviously dictate the. So hopefully, this is complicated. It's going to take a little bit of working out, but as we go through and we start working things out, we'll be able to kind of look at this a little bit more detail. But it gives you a good idea. But the main thing that I will be looking at will be this anyway, which kind of ties inside with this. Next column along is animals. Animals is no longer in the main menu. It's no longer in this one. It is now in this menu. We got all of the different farms where the animal pens currently are. Obviously, it doesn't take in consideration any farms that not farms, any animal pens that we put down. We're in obviously at Chellington, so we've got cows on our farm, chickens, and sheep. We already had a look at them in our previous video. And these are slightly different now. These are going to require a little bit more work. As an example, chickens, rather than before they just needed to be cleaned and then wheat or barley, they now to be cleaned. They also need water, they also need straw, and then the food, you got three options now: wheat, triticale or rye, sugar beet or carrots, and then soybeans, corn, barley or millet. So they need all three. As far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, again, I will correct myself if I am wrong, but the way it works with the food is they will prioritize their most favorite food first. So you don't need all of them. You just need at least one of them. But the best one, so cows, an example, the best ones where they're going to get the best amount of nutrition is going to be the TMR, total mixed rations. But then you can fill it up with all of these, but it will only eat the total mixed rations, and once that's all gone, it will then go to the next one down. So again, when I come to the animals, I will be checking this out and doing a little bit of testing myself. But if that is correct, then my advice would be to fill all of them up, but then try and keep the best one topped up. But at least you don't have to worry if the top one runs out. At least you then got a backup. The last thing you want to do is have all of these empty, because with seasons, animals can and will die if they do not have food and water. Okay, so you need to make sure that they got those two. Cleanliness will just affect how productive they are. As far as I'm aware, straw as well. Not 100% sure on what straw actually affects, whether it affects their reproduction or their production. But either way, I know that food and water, if they don't have any of that, their health will deteriorate and they will die. So yeah, lots more work to do with the animals. That's going to take a little bit more pre-planning. Certainly with the chickens, a little bit more stuff that we're going to need. So that's going to be exciting. And one final thing with the animals is when you come to the animals, there's going to be different chickens at Chellington farm when we come to buy the chickens. So there'll be different sexes, different weights, different ages, different reproduction rates, all sorts of things that have changed. So yeah, a lot more to look at when we come to that one. Next tab along is the economy. Speaks for itself. So similar to the base game where the price that you would get for selling stuff goes up and down. That's kind of more on a demand base. This, you can see a physical bar. I don't know whether this changes or not as and when you sell stuff. Obviously we'll keep an eye on that one. But different crops have got a different best time to sell. As an example, eggs, best time to sell is going to be kind of in the autumn time. Wool, best time to sell is going to be in the spring. And the green bar shows you where you currently are. So wool, right now, is the perfect time to be selling wool. Cool, so that's that one. we've had a look at the settings. So the final one is the crop rotation planner. Now this took me a little bit of a while to work out, and I had to watch a couple of tutorials myself to get a better understanding. But let me just reset all of these back to where they was before. Should have probably have done this off camera, but here we go. At least you can see what I'm doing. Right, I'll leave these ones here. So basically you've got 4 rows, rotation planner A, B, C and D. These basically just gives you 4 options. You don't necessarily have to do them in these orders. These aren't representative of anything particular. It's just you've just got 4 planners, so you can do 4 fields or plan 4 fields with the rotation. But if you've got more fields and you want to do more rotations, then you can plan 1 field, write it down, and then do another field. You don't need to use all 4 of these. You could just use 1, write it down, reset it, do another one. But what this is sort of a bit different with seasons. You can't just, let's say field number 1, you just want to constantly put wheat on there. You can't do that anymore. Why is that? Well, let's say wheat we put on there to begin with. We put wheat on again. Okay, the production is quite low. If we had a fallow initially and we put wheat on, it's actually quite high. But if we put wheat on again, it drops. We put wheat on again, it drops. I think it'll get to a point where it won't drop any lower, but as you can see, it's quite high here, the production that you're going to get, but then it starts dropping down. So what does that mean? Well, essentially, you need to plan a little bit more. Let me put these back. So currently on fields 1 and 2, we have gone the wrong way. We have fallow, and they've been a fallow for 2 years. So each growth stage, well, not growth stage, each rotation will be a year. So let's say we're in the beginning of spring now, so the beginning of next spring will be a year, the beginning of the following spring will be the 2nd year. So to get the best that you possibly can, you need to have 2 full years, game years obviously, of fallow before you plant a crop. So if we put a wheat down here, you can see now it's 120. If we had it here, it's 1.14. So to get the maximum, you need to have 2 full years of having nothing on that field whatsoever. So basically you would harvest it, you would cultivate it, and then you would leave it for 2 years, and then you're going to get your full maximum potential. So we've got wheat here. What are we going to plant on here next? Yeah, we could put wheat on there, but look how much it drops down, quite a lot. So we need to find a crop that's going to be great for having after wheat. So we can rotate through. Cotton's a little bit better. Canola is amazing. Sunflower is amazing. Soybeans is okay. Sugar beets amazing. Poplar is amazing. Grass, sugarcane's okay. So as you can see, going through, you've got different things that are going to be better. You've got this thing here which I've never heard of. So we could say we're going to do wheat, we're then going to do canola. What could we do after that? Could we go back to wheat again? Yeah, it drops down a little bit, but it's okay. What about canola? Again, it started to drop back down again. So we could maybe do this rotation here. And then once it gets to this, we then go back through this rotation again. So we have 2 full years of fallow, which we've had on 1 and 2. So we could now go wheat for this year, canola for next year, wheat again for the following year, canola for the following year after that, and then back to this fallow. And that's the way it works. And obviously you can do that for whatever crops you want. My advice would be do 2 full years of fallow to make sure that you're getting the maximum potential of whatever crop that you're wanting to do. So let's say you wanted to do potatoes, and then you could find what crop's going to be next. Well, probably nothing, because with root vegetables, or nightshades as it's called, in this little bit here. So you got cereals, you got oil seeds, you got nightshades. You would need to do another fallow, because everything else is going to be pretty low. Even if you did potatoes again, it's quite low. So if we did, you could do probably canola, or possibly canola, that's kind of at a 1. But if we want to get the best possible return, we would want to do a fallow, and then we could go back to potatoes again. If that wasn't a fallow, if that was potatoes, 1.08. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense on this crop planner, rotation planner. I got confused with this initially. I watched a couple of videos myself, and I kind of put that information that I've learned into this. This can be any field, this could be any field, this could be any field, this could be any field. It just enables you to plan up to 4 fields. But obviously, once you've planned one field and wrote it down, if you're going to write it down, or memorized it, if you've memorized it, then you don't need to keep it. You want 2 full fallow years, 2 complete game years, to be able to get the maximum return on a field. So now that is helped me, because if I open up my map, field 1 and 2 are currently fallows, and they've been fallows for 2 years, but field 3 has just been harvested from barley. So I can come up to here and I can go, right, so in fact I don't know what it was the year before. Let me just let me quickly, with the speed of this, run over here. Don't worry, I won't be leaving this on. It's just for me to be able to get over here a little bit quicker. So as you can see, bottom right hand corner, previous and before previous have both been fallows. So last 2 years have been a fallow. I didn't understand that initially, but again, I watched a video, found it out, hence why I'm doing it now. And this, oh, so 2 previous years it's been a fallow. Oh, look at that rainbow! How cool is that? So if we open up our seasons menu, so it's fallow. Matter of fact, let's do it on this one, so we're not using that one up. So it's been fallow, barley, because that's what's just been on there. So what are we going to do next? We could do cotton, we could do canola, sunflowers, soybean, corn, potatoes, sugar beet's going to be good, poplar's going to be good, grass. So we can kind of think, oh, what am I going to put on this now? Well, I want to put something simple on here. So I'm probably going to do canola. Canola or sunflowers. If we go back over to our animals, we can start pre-planning animals. So soybeans, corn, soybeans is a 1, that's okay. Corn's a 1, so we'll probably go for one of these. It's not the best production, but it's something that we could do with for our chickens. Triticale and rye, triticale, rye, millet. Rye and triticale is quite low, millet is a 1. So yeah, so we'll probably go for soybeans. Just, it's a nice easy crop. We don't need a separate header like corn. So we'll probably go for soybeans, or yeah, we'll probably go for soybeans, because then we can use that. We can stockpile it for our chickens, and then after that we're probably going to have to. We could go barley again because we do need barley. So yeah, we could probably do barley again, but then after that, everything's quite low. Oh, canola's not too bad. But we'll probably do a. In fact, we probably will do we'll probably do a canola just because. What it'll be like on here? Let's have a quick look. Gone the wrong way. We'll probably do a canola there. Then did we need millet? Yes, we did need millet. Oh, look at that. So see, we're just playing around with these. You can kind of see what's going to be really good. So we can do barley on this field we're on now for our chickens. Stockpile some of that up. We can then do soybeans, which we need. It's not the best, but it's okay. We can then do canola. We don't need canola for the chickens. Do we need it for anything else? God, that's small, right? Am I supposed to read that? Okay. Sheep. No, so we don't need it for any of the animals, but we can use that to sell. We can sell the canola because obviously we're going to want to bring some sort of income in at some point. And then the following year we put millet down, which we could use. So remember, these are years, so this is where we currently are. So this year we're going to do soybeans, next year canola, next year millet, and then what we can come on to here is we can go we can change these as we go along. So that's it. That is the seasons menu. It is quite complex. It took me a little bit of getting my head around watching a couple of videos to kind of gather information, hence why I'm doing this video. So hopefully I'll put all of that information into one place. But in a nutshell, it's going to take a little bit of trial and error. I may make mistakes along the way. Hopefully, even if I do, as long as I tell you guys, then hopefully you won't make the same mistakes as well. So I think, looking at this rainbow now, we're going to call it an end of an episode for this video. It is currently raining. One thing I didn't actually show you, which I should have, is if we go into the shop menu. Trying to remember where this is. I think it's under trailer and then miscellaneous. I think it's here. Yeah, here. The MT9. This is a measuring tool for checking the ground, trees, bales, all sorts of different things you can check with this. But you purchase that and it's on your middle mouse button if you haven't changed the key. So wherever you got your chainsaw, that's where this will appear. So down the bottom right hand side we can see what this field was, but we hold down the left mouse button, it gives us some more information. So we got our coordinates, map coordinates, we got our elevation, it tells us what it is or was, barley. We've got the growth, so obviously it's not growing, so it's on 0%. We've got our water level or moisture, so it's currently at 20%, so that's quite high. We've got our fertilization, which is 0%, and our ground water, which is 25%. If we come over to here, jump over, coordinates, elevation, fertilization, groundwater. So going back to our drought resistance, obviously, not obviously, but if you read the description down the bottom. The potential for frost damage increases as air temperature falls below 0 degrees. So that'll be looking at this. Potential for drought damage increases when the soil content is below 12%. So obviously when we looked at this, it's 25%, so that is great for us. Let's run over to the field next to the cows, field 36. So that's again this field 0% fertilization, 25% ground water. So this is something again didn't fully understand how to watch a video. So that's the purpose of why people do these videos, or certainly why I do these videos anyway, is to obviously help you guys out, help people out like myself that start playing something and don't fully understand. You don't know something until someone teaches you. Right, so this is the cow field. That's field 36, which has got grass seeded on it. So let's have a little look at this one. So coordinates, elevation, it's grass. It's 67% grown. Got 20% moisture in the grass, 25% water in the ground. Jump over here. This is a proper grass field, and again it's pretty similar. Grass 60%, 67% grown, 20% moisture in the grass, 0% fertilized, 25% ground water. So if we wanted to harvest this and dry it out, because it is quite high in the grass moisture, it's going to take longer to dry out. So yeah, nearly forgot that little bit to add on there, so I'm glad I remembered before I ended the episode. But yeah, we will call it an end of an episode now. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight to seasons. The plan going forward, what I plan on doing, we open up our map. Field 1 and 2 will need fertilizing before they get seeded, and they're going to be seeded with wheat if we can get it done before it changes. Field 3, we said we was going to put on, and this is why this is handy so I can remember, so we're going to put soybeans on field 3. Field 36 has got grass on it, so we need to mow that one, and then we're going to reseed it with something. We'll have a look at the crop rotation for that one. And this field that I'm currently on now just needs mowing. Now we could, if we wanted to, turn this into a field. So we got the information down the bottom right hand side. So obviously these are both grass fields, both at pretty much the same stage. This one doesn't say anything down the bottom right, this one does. So I am tempted to turn this into a proper grass field. So that's something I can show you how to do with Courseplay. But going forwards, we're going to be doing everything with Courseplay, so that just means that I can manage them and move around and add little bits in with Courseplay as we progress through. So thanks for watching. Bit of a gloomy day, but hopefully the weather. Where are we on today? Today, yeah. Friday might have a bit of rain as well, but hopefully it will sort itself out going forwards. So thanks for watching, and I shall speak to you soon. Goodbye.